Okay, so like I was saying, I was giving an example of the time that is fruit and vegetables has limited shelf life. They cannot stand on their own for a very long time. Looking at when we have summer, it's very, vegetables has to be kept so fresh. All those tomatoes and stuff, they need to be kept fresh. They need to be preserved. They need to be put in a shade. They need to, because they do not have a shelf life. They cannot stand on their own without being preserved or without being rotten and so on and so forth. So the timing is very important in terms of your transportation. And number two, the condition. What is the condition of that product? Frozen goods will need containers that are temperature controlled to ensure that the product remains what? Frozen. That is very, very important. Let's take, for example, if you manufacture ice cream, the condition is that ice cream needs to be in a container that is temperature controlled to ensure that the product remains frozen. So you can produce it in the farm. Before you bring it to the shop, there must be certain temperatures they need to be kept under before they can be sold to the consumers to keep it fresh. Then also the price. Talking about the transportation, the price also has an impact. Certain modes of transportation are more expensive than other form of transportation. Transport costs add to the final product of the product, to the final costs rather, of the product, and it will also influence the profitability of the business. If the price of the transportation is expensive, your product is going to be what? Is to be expensive. So which means if your product comes from, let's say for example, from KwaZulu-Natal, the cost of transportation, the price of transportation will be added to your product. But in a situation whereby your product actually comes from here in Cape Town, your product is going to be cheaper. So the price of the transportation also influences the profitability of the business and is also impact on the price of the product. Then okay, let me give an example of those of price on transportation. Let's take for example, if you're buying things from abroad, you're buying things from UK or from the United States and it's coming into South Africa, you're actually going to pay more. And for example, when you go to Waterfront, whereby all those products came from Europe, that is why those products are expensive, because you will be charged for the transportation of those products compared to you just buying things in Woolworths, because they are made in South Africa. They are actually more cheaper than buying all those foreign products in Waterfront. And also the size. Large and heavy items such as cars cannot be transported by air as they are too big and they are too heavy. So you actually need to use a ship in transporting cars, and it also impacts on the business in terms of number one, the size, and in terms of also the price of the product. And we also have the availability of transportation. Certain modes of transport are not available in all areas. Businesses must consider where they are located and what transport is available directly to them. That is very important. For example, there is no harbor nearby. If there is no harbor nearby, the product still needs to be transported to the harbor by another mode of transport before it can be what? It can be exported. So which means if you want to use a ship in transporting your product, let's take for example a car, and you live in an environment whereby there's no harbor around you, you first need to use certain mode of transport. Maybe you first use a train or you first use a big truck to drive it down to where there is harbor, whereby you can now put your car on the ship. So all those two mode of transportation impact directly in terms of the cost, and it has a direct impact on the price of the product at the same time. And lastly, we have the weight. A product may be small in size but very heavy to transport. Some method of transportation price according to the weight, and other according to the size. For example, air transportation is priced according to the weight. And we have financing. What is financing when you're talking about marketing? It is being offered by businesses, and financing is needed to bridge the gap from when the product is being completed to when the customers pay for it. Business needs financing in between that gap. Products are being completed today doesn't mean consumers are buying it tomorrow. Consumers can buy it in 6 months' time. But in a situation whereby the business doesn't have sufficient funds, they must actually go and apply for credit facility pending the time those products are going to be sold in the shop. Because businesses will not tell the employees that, okay, we did manufacture on the 1st of January, and and you normally pay your employees on the 15th or on the 30th. It doesn't. Making a product doesn't mean consumer will buy from you. And if consumers don't buy from you, you cannot say you are not paying your employees. Businesses need to make a plan. That is the gap. Businesses apply for financing between when the products are being completed and when consumers are going to pay. So businesses need a running cash. They need money to run the business. They need to pay for electricity. You wouldn't say employees didn't buy, consumers didn't buy from us. We don't have sugar and coffee. We need to wait till when the consumers buy from the business. No. Financing can be done in the following ways. Number one, businesses can obtain a loan, that is a credit facility. Financing can be done in the following ways. Number one, a credit facility offered to clients that order large quantities. Clients can pay after possession of the goods or services, and this can be between 30 days, 60 days, or 120 days or 90 days. And we also have a deposit, and this is paid when the consumer orders the product or service, provides the business with a security or what we refer to as a collateral in case the client does not pay or cancels the order. So let me just try and break this down. What are the ways by which businesses can also offer financing to their employees, to their consumers rather? Number one, by giving a credit facility. You buy now, you pay later. But remember, you pay an interest on that. And also, businesses can also make use of what we refer to as lay-bys. That is, clients pay after taking possession, and what do we call? Is that what we refer to as lay-by? That is not lay-by. Lay-by is like you paying bit by bit, and later on you come and fetch the goods. But sometimes the business give a credit facility, and that is what we refer to as the hire purchase, if I'm not mistaken. That is, you possess the item, then you pay afterwards. And consumers can also make use of a deposit and say, okay, I'm paying certain amount. I think this is going to be a lay-by, and if you don't come back and fetch the product and you say, okay, I'm not interested in the product, then the business will charge you for a default. And also businesses can also offer a lease agreement, and which is often signed on large items. Then we have risk taking by business. All businesses carry risk. Some businesses are affected on a large scale of unplanned and unforeseen circumstances. Remember, we spoke about crisis management. Some businesses are affected because they never planned, they didn't foresee it, that what if something happened. And this impact on their productivity, I actually want you to underline that. It impacts on their productivity, the production process, the delivery, the quantity, and the profit of the business. Businesses need to make allowances for the following possible events. Number one, strike by workers, that is predictable. Natural disaster, anything can happen. Financial market change, that is what we're experiencing now, the economic situation of South Africa. Political climate, there might be political disturbance in the country. Possible risk, and ensure that they transfer the risk to insurance company. That is very, very important. Transferring the risk to the insurance company means that they need to insure their their business, pay premium to the insurance company so that when something happens to the business, they can be covered afterward. Strategic and effective management can also help reduce risk in the business. Strategic management means that having a plan B, having a management that is proactive, management that can foresee, management that are creative, management that can come up with a solution, management that do not panic, management that do have a clear vision and mission of the business. That is how business can actually take a risk. Then we have buying and selling. It refers to the actual exchange of goods and services, and this can be done in different ways. Online services, example, the internet, the third party or an agent. That is, when you're talking of the third party, you'll be talking about maybe a rental. You want to rent a space, it's been done by the rental, you don't even know the owner of the building. The personal selling, that is one-on-one, involves direct selling between the producer and the consumer. That is when you go to all those factory store or factory shop to buy straight from the consumer, from the producer rather, or sometimes when you go to a fat cook store, that is a shop, that is an example of a personal selling, you buying straight from that person. What do you call fat cook? Amakunye. Yeah, amakunye or whatever. You go there and buy. That is an example of a direct selling between the producer and the consumer. And we have mail orders, we have telesales, we have classified section in the newspaper, we have auctions, and many other ways of buying and selling. And that actually takes me to the end of the introduction of the marketing function, speaking about the 7 P's. And tomorrow I will be taking the P's one by one. It's interesting, and I actually want you to be focused, put in your mind, send me questions, make notes. And yeah, tomorrow I'll be speaking about product policy, and obviously I should be able to finish product policy tomorrow. Good afternoon.